Welcome, and we're here. We could have just stayed back and just kept on chatting. I knew we could have, right? So thank you, Charlotte, for keeping time. Bye, everybody. Hello, Rachel. You're right on it today, Rachel.
I mean, right there.
All right, so we are going to be talking obviously about real estate and anything else we want to talk about. We were talking about our dogs, right? All three of us have dogs, so any topic is safe in this space today. So before we get started, because I do have a question that I want to start with, and I bet you can all guess. But before that, is again, if you're new to lives and you're sitting here going, how do I do this or how do I navigate this? If you want us to know that you're listening, just put your name and where you're at in the comments. Feel free to ask questions or talk amongst each other. So if somebody hops in and knows Rachel, say hi to Rachel in the comments. You're not distracting us. And if you just want to be a fly on the wall and listen and not let us know that you're here, that's okay too. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Charlotte. I'm going to just put it in order of my screen. Charlotte, go for it.
Hi there. I am Charlotte Harrell. I am a market leader at a lending company called Atlantic Bay Mortgage. And basically, I just get to live my belief system, which is when somebody is making big decisions in their life, they need an advisor, whether that be a realtor or a lender. And I get to manage a bunch of amazing advisors in Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, and a little bit in Northern Georgia.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to come to California.
I know one of these days. That's a big ride. That's a lot of travel.
Well, speaking of California, Karen, you're up.
Great, thank you. And speaking of travel, too, I am in two states, California and Idaho. I am broker and owner of Rock and Associates. We have 3 offices in California covering all the coast area, Carlsbad, Walnut Creek, right outside of San Francisco, and the Sonoma County wine country. And then also in the greater Boise area. I'm a producing broker, which that means I'm in the field next to my agents, not competing with them, but staying abreast of what's happening so that I can be the very best mentor and teacher that I can to help them in their business.
And I love it. And so I'm in California. However, I'm in Oregon a lot because of a grandbaby. However, I coach lenders, brokers, realtors, team leaders in all the states and in Canada. So we have everything covered. We're good.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do a little shout out and a brag for a minute, which I did not tell Charlotte and Karen I was going to do that. But these 2 women are phenomenal leaders. And I just admire both of their leadership skills and their willingness to grow and be better leaders, but they already are phenomenal leaders. So I am very fortunate that you're both here, and anybody listening is very lucky that you are both here. So my first question, and again, any topic we can talk about, let's put a different spin. Let's change the narrative on NAR, and everyone's like, oh, here we go again, NAR, but we do need to talk about it, right? Let's put a different narrative on NAR, and let's talk about the positives, because I don't hear a lot about that. And I'll let you guys decide who wants to go first.
Karen, take it. You want to go?
Yeah,
there's so many.
Yeah, there are so many. So, one of the things, and it'll take me a while probably to get to that point. However, I don't, other than some rules, which we will have to, change the way that we put things into MLS and the way things that we don't put into MLS. Bottom line, we're just still negotiating on terms, right? And now, in the sense with the buyers, we have the ability to have this discussion with them ahead of time, right? Find out what they have that they're able to put into this transaction, and then how we can structure that with the sellers, whether the seller is offering a commission or other concessions. So the buyers actually, in my opinion, will have a little bit more power in the negotiation of how all the end and how this all goes.
That's exactly right. I couldn't, and you said something, and it's so true. It's the timing of when good buyer's agents have been doing this all along, right? Good buyer's agents that I work with are coming with, they're not scared to get a buyer's agency at the beginning. So guys out there that aren't in the real estate business, the big change that happened was the commissions for the buyer's agents are no longer going to be set in the contract with the listing agent. It is now going to be between the buyer and the buyer's agent. And it has to be, here is the big thing, it's got to be negotiated before that buyer's agent takes you to see a house, right?
Yep.
So before a buyer's agent wastes time, let that sink in. Can I just tell you guys how insanely jealous I am?
Yes.
Right.
You understand that on the lending side, we
Right.
don't get this ever. So I'm pulling credit and working up deals and taking phone calls at 7 o'clock at night for the person to the next business day going to their bank, right? I never get that contract. So the fact that the buyer's agents that are good are now going out there and showing their worth, showing their value, doing a buyer's presentation instead of just a listing presentation, right?
Right.
But getting them signed up, showing that, and getting a commitment from somebody so that they're not calling 18 other agents, that's a win. I don't,
Yep.
even if you have to reduce commissions, because I do think you're probably going to see buy side agents probably get reduced commission some. But if I have to reduce my commission even 1% on the regular, but I get 3 times more of my clients because they're committed to me,
Oh yeah.
guys, do the math. Do the math. It's
Yep.
going to be better.
Yeah.
It's going to be better.
I mean, go ahead, Karen, because I know you have stories where you've spent hours and hours and 30 homes later, and then you don't have a committed buyer after that. So go ahead. Go for
Yeah,
it.
let's even talk about months and months, not
Right.
Yeah.
Years.
Yeah.
and that actually leads into my my comment on what Charlotte was just saying is yes, there may be agents who are charging different commissions, and in fact there always have been. We're just talking about it a little bit more now openly with our
Yep.
clients, and we may find that part of that depends on your experience. So let's talk about attorneys for a moment. First year attorneys in practice are not earning what the partners are earning.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, as I gain more experience and I can convey my value better, and it's backed up with experience and testimonials from past clients, I'm probably not going to be one of those people that's offering a lesser commission. And then there may be a reason that someone else does and is okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did hear, and this is going to open a can of worms. Am I ready to open this can of worms?
Go for it.
I'm going to open this can of worms as a lender. I'm not an agent, so I can say this. So somebody was talking about the fact that now that buyers are going to be negotiating their commissions with their buy side agent, but the listing agents, I don't think I've heard many listing agents be fearful that they're going to lose their typical commission, right? That's not
Correct.
really on the table. So a listing agent in a conversation said, back that up. A buyer's agent said, well, that's not fair. We're doing more work than a listing agent. And I sat there for a second and I just went, okay, what you said was kind of that, Karen. You said the attorneys that have been in it for a long time. And I put it to him like this, and tell me if I'm dead wrong, you guys. I'm not a realtor, so you can tell me I'm wrong.
Okay, good. I'm ready. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So if I'm a buyer's agent, I have to have the skills of negotiation. I have to be able to open doors, and then I need to make sure that I can write a contract, right? And make sure that Hi, Chanel. Chanel does not agree with me, by the way.
Nope. Right.
And then as a listing agent, I need to have the skills to negotiate. I need to be able to put a contract together. I still need to be able to open doors, but I also have to know how to market and sell and get more people into a house. And that is something that a buy-side agent does not have to do. So they have to do the same. And then a listing agent has to be this much more skilled. Now, that's not saying that a buy-side agent isn't skilled, but in the facility that they're working, it's slightly less. Would you guys agree or disagree?
I would say the answer to that question is highly dependent on the market that we're in.
Yes.
Oh, true.
Yes.
Highly dependent on that.
Yeah.
And
because you're going to be showing a lot of houses in a heavy seller's market.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. During COVID, I would have disagreed.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
However, devil's advocate here.
Go for it.
How much work you have to do in the American way is not what we get paid for. There are people that work many less hours that get paid more per hour because of their skill set.
Yes.
So even though in that 2020 market, the buyer's agents were having to run, I mean, how many offers did they have? The hours that they had to put in were so much more. But we're in America, and attorneys get paid more than school teachers because they had to go to school for longer. And let's go surgeons. Surgeons had to go to school longer. They had to do more. Regular ER doctors are probably putting in a whole lot more work, and they have a much less of a fun schedule, but the pay scale is still there. So as a buy side, as an agent that's just doing buy side, my goal should always be to increase my skill and get listings, right?
Yes.
So I still think that even though now it's not fair, and please understand, I understand that there's so much more work. I didn't say there was more work. That I'm not saying. But we get paid on skill. We get paid on as a surgeon versus a regular doctor, right? To me, the listing agent has to have more skills. Not say that the buy-side agent doesn't have them, but in that facility, they're not using them.
Certainly. Certainly I agree around marketing and, getting people into the door and, being creative with price so that you hopefully set yourself up for multiple offers. So there is some skill set in a listing agent.
Yeah.
And then the skills and both sides need to have skills around communication. Both sides sometimes have crazy clients, right? It doesn't matter if it's a listing or, like I have a client right now that I coached today who's like, I have never had a client that needs so much hand holding, and she's got the listing, right? So, I mean, there's skills across both sides, but I don't disagree when it comes to marketing. It is different. It is different.
It's an extra skill.
Yeah, it is. And hopefully, the buyer's agent is also, they're going to want listings too. But yes, Karen, how about you? Agree, disagree?
No, I think I still stand that a lot of that depends on the market we are in. And yes, agree, the listing agent definitely needs to have that skill of marketing property, right? Which is very different than showing property. I will say, I think that buyer's agents, so in this case, we're talking specifically about people who are listing agents versus people who are buyer's agents. I do think buyer agents are going to grow a new muscle that will serve them well to
absolutely
obtain listings, right? Because currently, without having to have that agreement ahead of time about what our fees will be and how they will get paid, meeting a buyer is, can I buy you a cup of coffee? Right. That commitment's really easy. And then we just sort of ease into it as we get to know each other and look at, properties together and begin communicating and gain trust over time. Whereas on a listing appointment, I mean, I'm going in and I'm throwing it all out there. Right.
Right.
We are having deep conversations about money, deep conversations about someone's home, which is in a lot of cases really close to their baby. Right. So really hard conversations on the first visit for the most part. So now that buyer's agents are also going to be doing this, they're probably going to grow that muscle that they need to be a better listing agent also.
Yeah. Yes.
And marketing.
Yes.
Right. And what I'm finding interesting in my coaching practice is my clients that are newer are less fearful. And I want your guys' opinion or take on this, but my newer agents are less fearful because they haven't been doing it the old way for 30 years, right? And the spin, that aha moment I had today, we're talking with the client, and I was there before I left real estate, was 95% of my business was referrals. I didn't have to do a listing presentation. I didn't have to do a buyer presentation. You got to call Tanya. She's going to sell your home. They call me up. My friend says, you're going to sell my home. And that was it. Right. So agents that are, seasoned, like Karen, I mean, I know I'm sure you still do listing presentations, but when it's a referral, it's easier. Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And it's right. And so the newer agents who their business isn't at that level yet, and they are doing presentations on both sides, they don't have that cushion that we've had for so long.
I agree. So I had two guests on our last mastermind, right? One who had just passed her state exam and one who's still studying for, both who asked, oh my goodness, should I be getting out of this before I get into this? And my response was absolutely not. You're going to learn this the new way.
Right.
I mean,
right.
I have habits that I have
No, that's it.
a
That's
subscription of issues I need to get rid of.
right.
Yeah.
The rut that we've run over and over and over again, what's going to be a harder one to get out of.
Yeah,
And
those neural pathways are going to be challenging.
it's going to be challenging. And I think that you're going to have, when I look at our large database of agents that send business to us, we work with a lot of buy-side agents as a lender. That's really
Sure.
what we focused on.
Right.
Our team does do more listing type stuff, but for the most part, buy-side agents. The agents that have been heavily lead, Zillow, home.com, that stuff, that is going to be a shift in their business. And this is another positive. Can I just throw this out that this is going to be another positive? Because we have had people that were good at quick wham bam thank you ma'am type transactions right out of Zillow and all of that, and they aren't the best realtors. They're almost always the bad realtors. They're the ones that all of the other agents cringe when they get an offer from them because they have not perfected their trade, because they don't care about that referral, what you just said, Tanya. They don't care about that. So I think, but then on the flip side of that, I have some other realtors that do Zillow and that type of lead share, but they work it for the next referral. Like they see that as a nugget.
Absolutely. Yep.
And they're building a
coach an agent
relationship.
like that.
So they're doing the things on the front end. One guy that I work with, he'll go meet him at a house. The first thing he'll do is just go meet him at the house. He doesn't do any filtering. He just wants to meet him because he said, even if I meet him and they don't want to use me and they don't like this house and they can't buy a house, they have friends. He's thinking referrals, right? So now he's going to go meet them and see if they want to sign a contract. They're going to meet at the office first, right? But it's still the same philosophy. Mm-hmm. He's building a relationship. They're building a relationship first, and they're going to do fine. It's the ones that are just like playing the numbers game, spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on leads, but not actually building a foundation of business. If you didn't have a foundation, what is that? If your foundation's made of sand, right?
That's right.
We're going to see those exit. And I'm not saying, yay, it's going to be a good thing to have the exit, but I think that it's going to take, lenders and realtors, we've got a bad rep. I'm sorry. We have a bad rep. And I think a lot of that is because people got into the business that didn't have to do much. They could do those, they could just pay for Zillow and they could do business. So I think it might clean it a little bit, and people are going to have to do good presentations. And if they don't do their job right, they're not going to get a referral.
Right. Well, and so the way I've been talking about it with some people, because two things. One is like we have forest fires for a reason, right? It cleans up. We need to have it. So this is kind of like the real estate forest fire, right? And it's okay. And I don't want to sound disrespectful to anybody who's going to be selling their lock boxes. That was one of my posts on LinkedIn and social media. Go buy the lock boxes, right? Because one of my clients came to me on a coach call and said, Tanya, I went to my office meeting this morning and two good agents were selling all their lock boxes and throwing away their signs. And I'm like, you know what, Mrs. Realtor, go buy the lock boxes because we're going to get you a lot of business. So I went, oh, that's a post. And I posted it.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're committed to the business, any business is going to go, I don't care. Whatever business you're in, there are going to be changes that come into your business. This is just a change. I think I told you on our last show that lenders kind of went through this in 9 to 11. There were some really big, monumental changes, and we're talking commission changes. So this isn't a direct commission change, but an indirect commission change, right? Ours was pretty direct. It was like, you were making this, and now you can't make more than this. Bam.
Yeah.
And a lot of people quit. A lot of people got out of it. Business went elsewhere, and we filtered, and we came out, and I made more in 2019 before the 2020 rush. I made more in 2019 than I made in 2008.
Yeah. Well, 2008 was another one of our forest fires.
At the end of it. Yeah, absolutely. And the beginning of it was a really good year. 2007, 2008 were great years in our industry. But even after my huge commission change, I still made more money in 2019 than I did in the times when we were making 3 to 5 times as much commission. Yeah. I mean, it was an enormous commission change.
Yeah.
I want to comment real quick on that brief discussion about online leads. And I think that, and this is a direct plug for Tanya and working with Tanya and learning to work by referral. One one of the things that happens with buyers and online leads is typically if they're willing to give their information to, let's just say Zillow, they're also giving it to Redfin and Boomtown and right? And they have all these people out there looking on their behalf. When they now have to sit down and sign this buyer agreement, they're not going to be giving their information out to all of these other agents. So those leads are going to slow down tremendously, at least for a while, until the online lead companies find another way.
Yep, and they will. They will.
However, you just get ahead of the curve and start working with Tanya.
Thank you. Yes.
Get way ahead of that. I mean, it's always been sad to me to see people that, they get excited because they have a lead and they've been paying for those leads, knowing that there are at least 5 other agents out there also getting that same.
Yeah. Right. And only one of them's going to get paid.
Only one of them. That's right.
That's it. That's just one's going to get paid.
Yeah. I think, Karen, you mentioned the attorney thing. So oddly enough, when you think of what could possibly happen to our business, talking about the Zillows finding a way, I could see, have you guys heard of like the online attorneys? You don't have to pay for an attorney. Just go here and we'll do your form for you. Right?
Yes.
I actually, true story. I know somebody that did this for a divorce. True story. They did an online, didn't have an attorney, divorce. Nightmare. And you're shocked,
I can only imagine.
Like, oh, you mean actually paying for somebody who has expertise to actually represent you was worth something. And I think we're going to see that. We're going to see some people maybe go into this discount.
Yep.
Horrible advice. No advice, right? No advice. It's just going to be, we'll just do paperwork for you. You're smart enough. You can do it. And they'll do it once.
They'll do it once.
They won't do it again because it's a nightmare.
Not to mention whose phone is going to be ringing at 8 p.m. when the appraiser finally gets their report done and it doesn't come in at value.
Right. Well, and so a couple things around this. For agents that I'm working with or know, I hope they set boundaries. So I'm throwing it out in the atmosphere right now. So they might, because I do believe in the beginning it's going to be a little chaotic. I think we're going to have some chaos. And like Karen in the private Facebook group brought up a topic about referral fees and how do we set that if we don't know what the other agent's getting, right? So I think we're going to see some chaos for a while. And then that point just left. Oh my God.
I haven't even thought about referral fees. Yeah, that's going to be a hot mess.
It is. We're going to have some chaos in the beginning.
I haven't even thought about that one.
Karen, help me. I wanted to make a comment on your comment and it just went in one part of my brain and flew right out the other part of my brain.
Well, so not sure exactly where you were going, but I'll just finish kind of talking about it. Maybe it'll come back to you there. But yes, I mean, we normally say we want X% of your commission. Well, now that of your commission is a blank, right? So it's like an old algebra question where we used to know what Y was.
What Y equals, right? Yeah.
Now we don't know what X or Y is.
Right.
And I never found the answer to those questions.
Yeah. So. Yes. So
that's a good analogy. That's awesome.
Okay, so my point hasn't come back yet. However, I do have another one. Thank goodness I have some live stream notes. And Charlotte, you said it, Karen, you said it, and I've been saying it for at least maybe a month with my clients, is they need a buyer presentation, right? They need to know their superpowers. They need to know, what, and I don't want the flyer to be titled this, but why are you going to hire me? Like, right? That's like, why are you hiring me to represent you as a buyer's agent flyer? We need that. We need a buyer packet. And so, and in fact, we have go ahead, Charlotte, go for it.
And can I just say, if you don't have this, and if you don't know in your heart of hearts why they should hire you, you must go to a coach like Tanya. Because I will tell you, I wouldn't have known how to answer that. I mean, this is the truth. Because I talk to so many people and they're like, well, I mean, because why would you work with him? And they'll give me these answers that every single agent's going to say, right?
Right.
So if you don't know what truly makes you unique as an agent or as a lender, or honestly in any sales capacity, if you don't know what makes you different than your peers, not just your competition.
Call me, because that's my superpower.
That is her superpower.
I will own that that one.
You have
It
absolutely honed in mind to where I know I know who I am. Know who you are. Right?
Know who you are. Yes. And so I want everybody to, I'm envisioning, in fact, I'm actually creating a template. I envision the top piece being I'll use it into a couple different words. Your superpowers, maybe for some people who are a little confused what that is, your unique selling proposition, right? Like what is so great about Karen Henson? What is so great about, Karen, why am I going to use you versus Joe? That's that first paragraph, and being confident in articulating it, not just reading it.
What takes you out of being a commodity? We do not want to be a commodity. So to not be a commodity, we've got to show what that is and who we are, so we are no longer flour.
Yeah. So that's the top part of this template that I'm creating, right? That's the top piece. And then the 3/4 of it, and I know you've all seen the post, right? The 91 things a buyer's agent. Please don't do 91. I mean, I get the point of that post, but it is kind of stupid. No one's going to have a flyer with no one's going to read 91 reasons, right? So what I envision, and I'm totally flexible with the number, however, something like the top 20 reasons, you need me kind of thing. So that part of the flyer will be, the negotiation, keeping you out of the court system, right? Keeping you from getting sued, keeping you from overpricing. Go ahead. Each of you shout out a few things. Then I'll tell you what I want on the bottom of the flyer.
Allowing you to focus on your own career while I handle purchase, sale, whichever it is. I mean, that's huge.
How about this? Your lender says that you can't take a reduction in the hours while we are doing your loan. And can I just tell you that if you are going to take this on, you might have a reduction in hours and now you can't buy a house. This is true stuff, guys. If we get a paycheck stub and suddenly you're at 36 hours instead of 40, we go from fixed income to variable income, and I've got to have 2-year history or a year history. It's kind of a big deal. So don't screw up your mortgage by trying to do this on your own.
Your new side job.
No side hustle as an agent. You're not an agent. You can't do that.
Right. You're going to be there for the home appraisal, and you know what to do with the home inspections. Oh my goodness. I probably needed to have that cup of sweet tea before I got on here. Right. You're going to know how to handle home inspections and keep everybody's dates, not going past. So top 20 reasons. And I know there's 91, but that's an overwhelmed flyer, right? So that's the middle piece of the flyer. And the bottom piece of the flyer, I want testimonials. Minimum of 2 testimonials on the bottom. So your superpowers, the reasons that you're going to get them into their home of their dreams, and then testimonials. And that's going to be 1 page of a buyer packet. So what else do you recommend? And I have lots of ideas, so I don't want to put you on the spot and have you not be able to answer the question. But what else would you put in a buyer presentation?
I love the idea of having all of those listed, but honestly, that's not, I would give them my superpower and then I would have to listen, because you know what? They may not care about 20 of those, but there might be 5. So this is where the bad salespeople and the good salespeople are going to separate themselves. The people that actually listen to the buyer and hear what it is that they need and what they're scared of or what they're fearful of or what it is that they can't do on their own, they're going to tell you. If you talk with them, if you're genuine, then they're going to tell you. And then you can say, well, look, here's my 91 list. Here's the things that I do here that address your problem, right? Address your concern.
Yeah, and we talk about that, right? Karen and Charlotte, we've all talked about it. You've got to hit what their challenges are, their fears, their pain point, and answer it, right? It's not new. That's a big part. I'll plug the book with a competitor, and I'm okay with that. Ninja Selling talks about hitting your client's pain points.
Yeah.
And that's right. So that's what you have to do now is listen, ask really good questions. What are you fearful of? What are your challenges? What have been past experiences that weren't good? And then be the person that's going to be the hero.
I also think it's really important, and I don't necessarily think this goes in writing. This is more part of the discussion with a buyer. However, it's well-known fact, you don't know what you don't know. So you can Google all you want how to sell your house.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you don't know that particular loans are going to require certain repairs on the house, you won't know to Google the question, what repairs are going to be required by certain lenders, right? So and we bring in years of experience on that, even for a newer agent, because they have their brokerage backing them up too, and
Sure.
training them, right? So sometimes people, I think, look at transaction, since we're talking real estate, as just that transaction, and they think, wow, you earned this much money for that transaction. No, I earned this much money for everything I brought in from the last 20 years into
Great
this
point.
transaction.
Right. No, that's actually, that's right.
Yeah.
So with that being said, realtors, do you think that the team, as a new agent now, it used to be as a new agent, I could go get leads. I didn't have to really have the expertise. I didn't have to have what you just said, Karen.
Right.
Do you feel like teams will explode more, that there will be more teams, more advisors, almost, appraisers take on apprentices for years, right?
Right.
Do you think that we're going to see more listing agents take on one or two agents that are buy-side agents as a team so that they can offer, so that when they're going out and presenting their value, they've got the expertise behind them? Would you suggest that?
It's an interesting question, and I have a couple of answers. One of them is that in the years that I've been in the business, I worked for two different boutique brokerages, and each of them, their vision was having a hourly type run brokerage, right? Where they hired people and paid them hourly. And I could see that sort of thing kind of working now for them. I still think it's crazy when you know your value and you're confident in what you can do. Why would you work hourly for someone when you can have your own business and have the larger piece of the pie? And then back to the team thing, I think the only way this will work for teams to explode more is if teams actually get more engaged in training. Right now, the team model, for the most part, and I'm speaking very general, is an easy way for a new agent to get in and get some business. And there's a perception of training, and from what I hear, since I'm out recruiting all of the time, is that it is just a perception for the most part. And the agent will never get better and be able to stand on their own 2 feet until they get that training.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe more of a mentor than a team lead. Maybe that's the role that needs to be played. So if I'm a new agent, I'm thinking, if I'm coming into this business, I'm brand new, and I know I just got my license and the world is turned upside down, right? Then I think if I'm in those shoes, I'm thinking, I want to go find an amazing realtor that's been doing this for a long time, who I can attach my name to, so that when I'm going out and building my business, I can say, and I do this, and anything that I don't know, this is my mentor. She knows everything, right? And that's a great opportunity. Hey, realtors out there that maybe don't want to do a whole team, how cool would it be to have a mentorship with newer agents so that they have that behind them?
I think that is a phenomenal structure for sure. Yeah. But
and I know, Karen, you've had mentors in your brokerage, right? And the mentor gets paid by their mentee, right? And I coach, so I want to say this and be very respectful in case any of my clients are listening that are on a team. And there's lots of reasons to be on a team, but what I'm finding to be some of the biggest reasons to be on a team is learning, right? Lack of confidence to go out on their own. So lack of confidence, the fear of not knowing. So there are some, and that's normal. I'm not saying this disrespectfully. So being on a team, but typically, and I think I saw this on NAR, the typical team person that's on a team stays 2 years.
Sure.
Right. And then they have the confidence and then they don't want to give up their money to their mentor or team leader. Right. And neither would I.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But interesting to see how it plays out with the newer people coming in, because I don't think we're going to stop seeing newer people come in. It's still a really cool job. I mean, honestly, where else do we get to solve the problems, be relational with people, see cool houses? I know that's what everybody starts to get into the business for, right? To see the cool houses. But we get to wear all these really amazing hats. So I think that the job is still sexy.
Yeah.
It's just
not only is the job sexy, there's no glass ceiling on it, right? I've got agents that are making $500,000 a year, right, without a college education, and they're phenomenal real estate agents. And and that, I'm not talking about the ones that live in California or New York. I'm talking about like one particularly that I'm thinking of, New Mexico, right? making $500,000 a year. It is, there's no glass ceiling on this. This is an awesome, and it's, I'm interrupting myself. It's hard. Being a real estate agent, being a mortgage lender, running a team is hard work. And you ladies and anybody else listening out there, right? Earn every penny. Earn every penny. If you're good. If you're just out there for a paycheck.
If it's
right?
not
If you're
hard,
good.
you probably aren't going to make it through this. If it wasn't
Right.
hard for you last year, and
Right.
now, 2 years ago, it wasn't probably for buyers agent wasn't as hard than running around,
Yeah.
but they could get the business. This last year, if you made it through this last year and you worked hard, I think you've got this isn't going to mess you up. If last year you didn't work for your business, all you did was lead call and you didn't make any relationships, you did no foundation, even though we've been talking about this for months.
Yep.
Right? If you just
I
don't see you, right?
I call it the ostriching effect.
Yeah. It's not there. It's not there. Yeah. But if you worked hard and you started building those relationships, I think you're going to be fine. That would be if somebody came to me, I'd say, you're going to be fine. You've been working, working hard. You've been building the relationships and doing the right thing.
Yep.
Just keep on.
Yeah, and I do envy the new agent coming in not knowing better. They do have a leg up on Karen Henson, who is a phenomenal realtor, has been in the business for a long time, has those habits. Right?
Yep. And one of the things that we've all heard in a lot of our networking groups are people trying to find workarounds, right? Like, well, we could just do it this way. It's like, no, the easiest thing to do is just follow the rules, and that will be much easier for a new agent who doesn't.
Right? I'm telling you, have you guys seen? I know you guys have seen the thing where you put 3% in different words, and it's really cute. But if you get caught, you're in a lot of trouble. And how about? Just do it right.
Here's something I heard right in line with that, and I thought it was fantastic. That so first of all, this is all still active litigation, right? So we're spending a lot of time trying to figure out how to do things, and we don't really even know exactly what the rules are going to be yet. We know what the proposed ones are. Okay, if it goes through the way it's written, there are 23 law firms out there with current suits that will all die because they're all covered with this settlement. So you don't think that those 23 law firms are going to be watching for the clever agent who advertises, sets every clock at the house as 2, 25. You don't think they're gonna, be looking for that? So
it's gonna pop up, yeah. And
I love what Mary Ann just
realtors
said.
are tattletales too. I've seen it. Y'all are some tattletales. You don't like somebody, you're telling on their butts.
Okay, so of course this is very ironic, and I know Charlotte's gonna know why there's irony here. I know Karen know why there's irony here, and same thing with Susan and Rachel and Mary Ann, who just said, just follow the rules. How unique. I love that. Yeah. Some of us aren't rule followers. So I'm thinking it's really good I'm a coach right now because I'm very creative out of the box. Let's look outside, right? Yeah. I am not the stay in the lane, Tanya kind of gal. So this is probably good for me.
All right. I just got a new job, and that is we're going to have to keep an eye on Coach.
Right. Yeah, that's it. Oh, can I bring up something a little bit off topic? But I thought of it the other day, and you mentioned the attorneys that are going to be out there swarming.
Yes.
So a really easy target to make for an easy buck would be if you change people's commission structure big time and then watch them do things that are foolish that you can lead to other lawsuits. So as a lender, this is something that we do. And can I just suggest, agents, you do it. It's very simple. If you have a commission that you set now, that is your standard commission. If my commission is 3%, if it's 2%, if it's a flat fee, I don't care what it is. The rule is you can always come down. You can't go up, right? Once you've disclosed it, you can't go up. Just like lenders, this is oddly familiar. We can't go up once we disclose this. We can come down. But I don't know if you know this. If we ever come off of our rate sheet, if I come off of the rate that I say is my rate, I must document the why. This is very important for equal housing. Guys, there will be people looking for you to make a mistake. So the why can be, lack of cash to close, competitive offer with another agent. It can be, I messed up and I had to make concessions because I didn't do my job just right, right? It can't be they're my friend. It can be they are my family. You can offer a family discount.
Interesting.
But it's got to be a relative, right? And I think there might even be rules about, in lending, there's rules about it's got to be like direct mom, dad, sister, brother, right? But you can't do friend because that gets real gray. Like all my friends are of one nationality, right?
Yeah.
So I just thought about this and I have not heard this anywhere else. And maybe I'm crazy, but if I'm an attorney looking for low hanging fruit and knowing that I've just changed everybody's world around and they're going to be messing up their commissions, I'm going to be looking for one person to say this person discriminated against me, and I'm going to go all in for a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
so just in your file, have your commission structure, and if there's anything that you deviate, just document it. They don't have to sign it. Just every time, document it. That's my little soapbox because we do it as lenders, and I feel like,
It's great.
All fear and love and war. Well, yes,
Vultures out there flying.
Yes, and I do remember being, again, I'm aging myself, but I remember before we had things like Dropbox or even, I don't even know if I had a cell phone in the very beginning of my real estate career, but we used to have a call sheet, right? We documented our calls, and I used to work, I had it stapled to the file because I had a paper file. I didn't have a Asana file, right? I've got a paper file, and and on top, I've got all my checklist, because again, nothing new. Anybody knows me well knows Tanya lives on checklists, right? Open it up, I've got all the contact information, and on the back of the file I have my call sheet, right? There's nothing wrong with going back to some of those good habits.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I agree. I think documentation will, if it's possible to say more important now than ever, I don't know, because it's always been important. However, if you've skipped it, stop skipping it. And making regular random use of the word negotiable is really important. Just shout it out in the car once in a while when they're in your car. Just
right.
You want to go left or right, it's all negotiable.
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
No, so
well, we've gone way over, and I know we can keep going way over. So one of the things, so I just want to rein it into the one question, and I want each of you, if you can think of something, and I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, is that buyer presentation, where, like I said, I want, I already explained. So if anybody came on later in the beginning of I'm explaining what I would like that flyer to look like, right? And I have tons of ideas what could go in a buyer presentation. One idea from each of you.
I would definitely have a certificate in negotiation skills, and that would be in there.
I mean,
awesome.
The lender that you trust. I mean, sorry.
Nice job.
Sorry.
No, that's why we're here.
Why? With that being said, very important to make sure that your lender is one that knows the value of an agent.
Yeah.
There are lenders that will hate on agents and not say that they're worth a dime.
Yeah.
Make sure as an agent, make sure that's not your lender. You want that preferred lender to be somebody that knows that you're worth your money.
Well, so you led into this. So when we were talking in the beginning about superpowers, right? Charlotte, you have phenomenal superpowers. I can't speak highly more. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 100. Same thing with Karen. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 100. Right? When I was in real estate and I was learning how to articulate my superpowers, it was my team. Right. And because I am very much a team player, I'm a team builder. I love having a great team. And my lender on my team was phenomenal. When I was in Texas, I had a phenomenal lender. I had a phenomenal home inspector, and I had more than one because my broker required us to give more than one. I could not, it was his rule. You cannot steer. Right. So I had 2 lenders and 2 or 3 home inspectors, but I had a phenomenal team behind me. Right. So if I'm giving out hints for how to articulate your superpower, right, is the team. You're not a single solo singer on the stage. You've got a backup band.
Yeah, I would even maybe have, if that's your preferred lender, maybe your preferred inspector, whatever those are, not just have their advertisement, but how about why you chose them? Maybe kind of like our resume. Like, here is her resume. I work with the best of the best. Look, this is what she does. These are what her clients say about her. This is what my clients in the past have said about this inspector. Take it one step further. Show that it's not just you. It's everybody. You're right.
Right,
That's a
get their
great idea.
testimonials, right? Have them give you a flyer, right?
Absolutely.
The deeper you go on this buyer presentation, by the time you're done, I guarantee they're going to say they'll sign the doc.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad we looked at the positive spin. And I know both of you are going to have, as I do, all of us are going to have clients in our back pocket that aren't fearful, and we're going to have some who are still very much afraid. And I know we're up for the task.
Yeah.
Yes.
Make us
We are.
stronger.
So before I
favorite-
turn off the live stream, I know we've got, some realtors here in the chat. Do you guys have, gals, because this is a phenomenal group of women right now, do you gals have any questions? Thank you, Marianne. Any questions for anybody here? And this is the first time I've had a threesome, so this is really fun.
Tanya. It's the first time you've had one. You have walked in on a few.
I have walked in on an orgy. Yes, I have. When I was showing homes, I have. I walked right into it, a full-blown, 100% naked orgy, and I'm blushing right now. Thank you, Charlotte, so much. Yes, I'm talking about a live stream threesome.
Oh gosh, totally quotable.
You're just dig that. Now Tanya's on OnlyFans. Who knew?
This is when I wish I had a little bit darker skin and darker hair, so when I blushed, it was cute, not full-blown redness. Ay, ay, ay. All right, so we're done. But it was fun. I want to go live with you guys anytime you want to go live. And
That'd be great.
as things are, changing, as things are getting chaotic, and let's see what Susan says. I thought you just started 20 minutes ago. Did I get the time wrong? Susan, it's always 4:00. We started at about 4:03.
You can go back and watch it though.
Yep, it'll be on, you can, right? So
We'll still even watch the chat, and if you put questions in, we'll still answer.
Yes. And I would love, Karen and Charlotte, for you to go back to the chat and input, please, your contact information. Either Facebook or your website, or at least your email. Go back and put your contact information. So sorry, Susan. Yes, you can go back and watch. Go to Tanya Bugbee's YouTube channel, and all of this is on my YouTube. And when you go to my YouTube, it's Tanya Bugbee. It's easy to find. If you can't find it, just text me and I'll send you the link. There's tabs on YouTube, and there'll be like videos, reels. Click on the tab that says live, and they get posted in order. Yep. Give YouTube about 5 or 10 minutes though.
Very nice.
Yep. Do you ladies have YouTube? Can you put this on your YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Yep. So yes, please snag it and put it on yours, or share it on any of your social sites. And Susan, we can talk tomorrow. We do have a mastermind tomorrow for the clients, my clients, and we can talk more. In fact, I'm just going to do a shout out to Chris Hennessy, who is my live stream coach. And Chris Hennessy, at the end of the month, I think whatever, April 30th is a Tuesday, I think. At 4 p.m. Pacific, he is doing a pop-up training for everybody I coach on live streaming, because it's becoming more and more popular. My client Ryan wants to go live, and I think it's a good thing, especially now more than ever. So yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you for inviting us.
Bye.
Good to see you guys.
Wonderful.
I think I have. Oh, wrong one. I'm turning it off.